So this is a very theoretical part. Okay? So you need to understand what is a region. It's a location. Basically, it's a geographical location, a physical location. Availability zones are nothing but these are data zones. And to create any server in the cloud, we need AMI. Okay. So we have all seen all this. Okay. So I'll just create a server and install a web server on top of it. Okay. So yesterday I've used Linux AMI. Okay. So today choose a different AMI called Ubuntu AMI. Okay. So I'm going to create a server. I'm going to click on EC2. So the first step. So all these are right now. So you can see which servers are stopped. Okay. So these are currently in the stopped state, and these servers are currently in the running state. Okay. And there is a billing section here actually, billing dashboard. Okay. If you are actually see this AWS account is given for free for 1 year. Okay. And you can't use all the services. Okay. You should be only be using services that are available for free. Okay. So how do you know which services are free? You can go to aws.amazon.com/free. So if you go here, below there are list of services. Each service, for how many hours it is free, they are going to show you. If you are exceeding this capacity or this timeline, then you are going to get charged, and immediately they will not charge you on your cards. Okay. So they'll send an email to make the payment. At that time you can send some email saying that, so I was just using this account for learning purpose. Okay. So you can please waive off the charges. I was just using for the learning purposes. Unknowingly have used these services. Okay. So they'll waive off the bill. But make sure that always you are stopping your services which you are not using. So these are the services that are available for free and in your account. So this is the billing dashboard. See, currently this is the bill actually, not the bill. That is the forecast. So it is showing in USD dollars. Okay. So just try to keep an eye on this account. Okay. So definitely we are going to get some charge, $10 or some charge, whatever it is, $10 to $15 or $20 sometimes. But you can send an email to waive off that. So to create a server, I am going to in EC2 and launching. Click on launch instance. So the first part is to select an AMI. Okay. AMI is nothing but an operating system. So if you want to kind of have like Mac OS environment, okay, if you click this, you are going to get a Mac environment. Okay. So you need not have any investment. Okay, within quickly or 2 to 3 minutes, I can get that Mac setup. Why we do this is, see, suppose I'm developing some iPhone applications. Okay, iPhone apps. I want to have that environment to testing. Okay, you can have only Mac OS to test the iPhone applications. So to create a Mac, to purchase a Mac, it's very costly, right? So just for testing purpose, we no need to purchase that. Okay, what we can do is we can just launch a Mac OS operating system. So it will give you us the Mac OS environment, and we do the testing of that iPhone applications, whatever that was developed. After that, we are again going to terminate this. So just you can use for testing purpose and again terminate. Just not to purchase a entire Mac OS a laptop or Mac OS a desktop for just for this purpose. So if you want to have Mac OS also, but if you see this is not eligible for, so these are eligible for free. But this you cannot use for free. So there will be a label actually, whichever can you can use it for free. Okay. So they're showing it as free tier eligible. Obviously, we can't use Mac OS for free, so they'll be charging some dollars per hour, something like that. So I want to choose Ubuntu AMI now, which is nothing but Ubuntu operating system. So these are the latest versions of Ubuntu flavors, 18.04 and 20.0. Okay. Whichever we want, we can use. I'm going to use the latest one. So the second step is to choose an instance type. Okay, I can choose T2.micro because only this is eligible for free. And this server is coming with one CPU and 1 GB memory. Okay. So I'm going to click on this and go into next step. So here in the third step, which is configure instance, do not do anything. Keep everything as default. Okay. So I'm just keeping everything as default here, configure instance section. And here I'm clicking on add storage. Click on add storage. So what is add storage is attaching a disk to your server. So you want to give some storage for your server. So that is what I'm giving 8 GB of storage here. And this volume types I'll tell you again. So if you wanna have higher processing power, okay, then you go for SSD. So this is going to give more performance. If you go for provisioned IOPS, IO2, IO1. So we'll as of now we'll just keep it as SSD GP2. And I'm clicking on add tags. So I can give some naming conventions to my server. Okay. So I'm just adding some name. I'm saying this as an Nginx because today I will install an Nginx Webserver on this EC2 server. Okay. So next I'm clicking on configure security group. So it is every server will have a security group. Okay, there is no server without a security group. It is mandatory. Okay, every server will come with a security group. So I'm naming this as Nginx security group. Nginx SG security group. And here I've been opening port 22. Okay, in the SSH section, I'm opening port 22. So I need to open port 22 to connect to the server. So I'm just keeping it as anywhere, so anyone can connect from to this server. In the in the here, I'm going to click review on launch. So here, if I want to edit anything, I can just edit. So this is the last step. If I want to edit anything, if I want to make any changes, I can edit. Or if everything is fine, I can proceed with the launch of the server. I'm clicking on launch. So one thing, whenever you are creating a server, right, you should have a key for that. Every server will have some key. So if you are not having that particular key for that server, you will not be able to connect to the server. Okay. So you should give some key name, create a new key pair. So I'm giving some key name for it called Nginx. Download key pair. So this nginx.pem, so it's very small actually. Okay. But a small file called .pem is downloaded with the name nginx.pem. So once this it is downloaded. So with which key this EC2 server was created? With the key called Nginx. Okay. Now I can click on launch instances. So I've been creating my server. So my server is created in this North Virginia data center. So I'll go to my EC2s and I can see my servers. So there is a section called tags, right? Add tags. So I said add tags is nothing but giving the naming conventions to your server. Okay, why do we give names? The reason is, see, we have now how many servers we do have? Total five instances, which means I do have 5 servers in my account right now. But see, this is my server I created for installing an Nginx application. Okay, this is other server. Okay, this is other server that was used for some elastic IP purpose. Okay. So I want to know, if I'm not giving naming names for the server, I don't know which server is for what purpose. Okay, so this server was created for certain purpose. So we should be able to identify. So that's why giving tags is very much essential. If you are having a number of servers, we'll not able to identify which server is our server. Okay. So that's why we need to give this names. And let me click on this instance. So I'm going to get more details about this server. So currently it is in the pending state. It will take some time, and after some time it will go to the running state. So currently it is in the running state, and if you see, it has got a public IP address, and it's also getting a private IP address. We'll talk about this public IP and private IP. And apart from this, I also got some DNS name. Okay. So this is like some domain name for your server. So apart from that, you can also see when was this server launched. If in case you have not created given the names, you created a server yesterday and you created a few servers long back, so you can go to the launch name, launch date, and check which was recently created. Okay. And if you want to do any filtrations also, you can do it here. Actually, if you go to the instances, so here you have all like if you click this, so instance state. Okay, instance state equals to, you want to get all the stopped containers. Okay, if you click this, you're going to get a list of stopped servers. I mean, these servers are in the stopped state right now. Okay, and if you want to get this list of servers which are running, instance state equal to running. So right now we have two servers which are in the running state, these two servers. So now my server is in the running state currently. Okay, so to connect to the server, okay, from my Windows laptop, so I need a utility called Putty. Okay, so I have created this server now. So I need to have some tool called Putty. Using this Putty tool, I will connect to my server. But to connect to the server, I need few details. What is that I need? Public IP address of the server. And key. Using which key I have created. Okay. And one more thing is, on security group, so these are the conditions. Okay, so these are the conditions that you have, that you need, okay, to connect to the server. If any of them, if you is not there, not if you are not enabling all this, okay, if you are not having all of this, will not be able to connect to the server. Okay, so we need this public IP address of the server, key, the key which we launched right at the last step, that key we need. Okay, and this key is very confidential and you should keep it in some secure place. Okay, if you are giving this key to someone and he knows your IP address of the server, they can connect to your server. Okay, so in industry, this we should store these keys in a separate location, and you should not share anyone. Okay, if you have created a server and if you are sharing the key to someone, he can log into that server and can do anything. Okay, but because you have created the key, it's your responsibility to have the key with you. Okay, this is the one part, but the key which I have created right now was nginx.pem. Okay, so whatever keys I have right now, it's in the pem format. but I can't use this PEM keys when I'm trying to connect from my Windows laptop. Okay. So this PEM key should be converted into some PPK format. Okay. PEM to PPK. So to connect these keys from PEM to PPK, so we should have another tool called PuTTYgen. Okay. This PuTTYgen tool I need for PEM to PPK. Okay. So we should convert this key from PEM to PPK because we are on Windows laptop. If you are on Linux laptop, you can just use this PEM key. Okay. But most of us have Windows laptops, right? So we should convert this to this format. Then only we can connect to the server. Okay. So how do you connect to this? How do you get this PuTTYgen? So you should go to a site, as I also told, you needed Putty as well to connect to the server. This Putty and PuTTYgen, you need not download separately. If you just download this Putty, you're going to get Putty and PuTTYgen both. Okay, so where you download this Putty, you should go to the putty.org. So there you can download the Putty. Okay, so whenever you download Putty, so if you just download this Putty, okay, you're going to get PuTTYgen tool as well. So once I get this PuTTYgen, we'll convert the PEM key to PPK. Okay, so I have my PuTTYgen. So this is how it looks. Okay, with this small symbol, this small computer icon, and a key on top of it. Okay, this is the symbol of PuTTYgen. You just type once it's downloaded, it should be available like this. So here is my PuTTYgen. The next step is I need to click on the load. Okay, so I'm going to click on load, and here, so I need to search for my PEM file where it is downloaded. Okay, so if you're not able to see your PEM files, right, you should select here all files. Okay. So your PEM will not be visible directly. So now are you able to see some name here, nginx.pem? Okay, so I'm going to select nginx.pem here. I'm opening it. Save private key. Okay, so next I need to click on save as a private key. So next it is going to ask me, are you sure you want to save this key without a passphrase to protect it? Yes, I want to save this key without a passphrase. And it is going to ask me where you want to save this PPK. Okay, I'm sharing it on my desktop with the name Nginx. You can give any name as well, not necessarily give the same name, but give the same name. So I'm closing my PuTTYgen. So my PuTTYgen work is done. What it did is it converted my PEM key to PPK format. Okay, but to convert this to PPK, I need not explicitly give .ppk. Okay, so if you're just giving that Nginx, it will be saved as PPK format only. Okay. So now to connect to the server, what is that we need? We need this tool. Okay, Putty we need. So as I said, with the download of Putty, you're going to get Putty and PuTTYgen. Now Putty is also available with me. Putty. So I'm going to click here. So when I click here, it is going to ask me host name or IP address. Okay. So we'll go to this host, get the IP address of the server. So this is the public IP address of the server. Okay. What is that we need to connect to the server? IP address of the server and its key. Okay, which is converted as .ppk key. And one more thing is on security group, port 22 should be open. If it is not opened also, if you have this both, we cannot connect to the server. Okay. Now I'm going to click on my Putty tool. So which is here. Now I'm going to specify here IP address, which I copied, right? IP address I've been putting it here. this IP address. I've copied it here and I've put it. So the next section SSH. I'm clicking on SSH and I'm on clicking on auth as well. What is this auth? So this is nothing but authorization to connect to the server. So here I need to pass my key. Which key? The PPK format key. So I'm going to browse and load this key wherever it is saved. So as I've been saving all my keys at one location, here I'm saving in desktop. So I'm choosing one specific folder, so it will be easy for me. So what is the key that I have saved? Nginx, right? So if you see here, there is a something called nginx.ppk. So the key which was in the .pem format here is converted into .ppk format because I want to connect from my Windows laptop. Okay. So if you see here, I have not even mentioned as .ppk extension. So by it automatically it took as a .ppk, nginx.ppk. So I'm going to click on this nginx.ppk now, and I'm going to click on open. So I'm going to click. So it is going to give me some security alert saying that do you want to trust this the server? So you're going to connect the server. So do you want to trust this connection? We say it as yes. And this server it is going to ask me how do you want to log in as. So for the every AMI we have some different usernames. Okay, as I said, this is the Ubuntu AMI I have selected to create my server. For this Ubuntu, the username is going to be Ubuntu. And for this Linux AMI, the username will be EC2-user. So for this Red Hat, we can use root. Okay, we have different usernames according to the AMI you choose. Okay. Okay. So what is that I said? So if I choose Ubuntu AMI while creating my server, my username is going to be Ubuntu, right? So I'm going to my Putty tool. So it is asking me login as. How do I want to log in as? Ubuntu because I choose Ubuntu AMI. So now I have connected to the Ubuntu server. Okay, this is the server that was launched in the AWS data center. Okay, and I have connected to that server. Change settings. Change. Okay, so right now I'm on my Ubuntu server. Okay. And as I told you, if I enter W, okay. So how many users have been logged in? We can see currently a user with the Ubuntu has been logged in here. And from where did he log in? From this particular IP address. Okay. We can see the source of the IP address who have been logged in from which part of network. Okay. So it is showing someone have logged in from this network's IP address. So if you see my IP, actually it will go. It will be the same IP. If you see my IP. 183.83.38.36. Okay, 183.83.38.36. So from that network, we can see who has actually logged in. And I'm actually switching as a root user. To switch as a root user, I use a command called sudo sg. So now from Ubuntu user, I'm going to become a root user. If you see here, it is now root. The advantage I do get with the root is I can do anything without any restrictions. So now this is an Ubuntu, and as like every Ubuntu server, to do anything on Ubuntu, if I want to download or update any packages or something, we have a package manager called apt. Package manager for Ubuntu. Like if you want to install any software on our server, I can take the help of this package manager called apt. Okay, so apt install Nginx. If I want to install Nginx, this is the command. Or before that, if I want to check there are any updates, apt update. It is going to check if there are any updates received for this particular server. Okay, apt update. And let's say you have installed this Nginx. Okay, how do you confirm the service is running? Okay, so we have a command called systemctl status Nginx. Okay, so using this command we can check the status of this service, if it is running or not. We have downloaded here the app install Nginx. We have downloaded Nginx, but I want to know whether it is running or not on my server. Okay, so this is the command systemctl Nginx, and this Nginx I can start and stop the services as well. The command is going to be systemctl start Nginx or systemctl stop Nginx. These are the commands I do have, okay, to start and stop the my web Nginx services. Not only Nginx, any service. If you want to stop, or you can do restart. And in case if you want to remove the service from your, so if you want to download any application right from your Windows, what you do, you go to the control panel and do the uninstall. Okay. Likewise, if you want to remove here, you can use apt remove Nginx. Okay. After installing, if you want to remove it again. Okay. So this is the command we use, apt remove Nginx. Okay. Now we'll go to my server. So there is a command called clear. Okay. What is this clear? Does it? It's going to clear your screen. It clears the screen. Okay. So now I'm going to give clear here. So I got new, everything was gone. So first, what is that I'll check? I'll check if there are any updates for my server. So there are some updates. Okay, now what is it I want to install? I want to install Nginx. I have to install, and this Nginx is a web server. Okay. This Nginx is a web server which is running on port 80. This Nginx, what is this Nginx? Okay, on server we have some ports. On this particular port, this server is going to be running. So I'm going to install Nginx. I have to install Nginx. So it is asking me, do you want to continue? Yes, I want to continue installing this. Okay, so I've installed Nginx. So how do I know if the Nginx is running or not? Systemctl status Nginx. Actually, it is currently active and running, so no need to start again. Okay. So to come out of it, I just enter Q. Shall exit. So currently, this Nginx web server is running on port 80. Okay. See, what I've done is I've created a server. Okay. So which was deployed in North Virginia region now. Okay. From my Windows laptop, I opened a AWS account and created a web server. So I created a web server. I installed a web server on my EC2 server. Okay. And this web server Nginx voice which I have downloaded is actually an Nginx. This Nginx, where this will run, this Nginx web service is gonna run on port 8. See, on this server, it is going to run on port 8. Somewhere. Okay, on 80 port, it is going to run here. To connect to the server, which port we have opened? Port 22. So for whom we are going to open port 22 means only for the cloud engineer or DevOps engineer. For the cloud engineer and DevOps engineer, we are going to open port 20 to connect to the server from the backend. Okay, so we'll not give all these customers or end users to connect the server from the Putty, right? So only who is going to work on the server, they are given this access to connect on the port 22. But the users are customers who are going to access your application. Okay, they for them to access the application, we are going to make them this application available on port 80. Okay. They'll will never open this port 24 for the customer who is gonna use your application, right? If you want to use your application or access our application, we'll open port 80 on our server because this Nginx web server, it is a kind of web application. It's like assume like it's a Flipkart or some application, whatever you are, right? Amazon. So similarly, this is also that kind of an application which is going to run on port 80. Okay. So for this port 80 to be opened, so we should go to the security. So whatever ports you want to open, so in our cloud, we have to go to the security group. Okay. So we'll go to my security group of my server. So this is my server, and if you see, if you click on security, I am going to get my security group. So as I told you, what is that we are going to do it here? We are opening the ports. I have opened port 22. Okay. So I have opened port 22 here. So I want to open another port now. Okay. I'm going to click on edit inbound rules because I want to open port 80. So to open port 80, I click on add rule, and here I'm going to select on HTTP. Okay, this usually runs on port 80 HTTP service. So I'm opening it here. If you click, if I, as I clicked on HTTP, you're going to see the port 80 right here. Port range is 80. So I'll keep it anywhere. What is anywhere means? Anyone can access this application. If I keep it anywhere. Okay. So what I did, so I created a Ubuntu server by choosing an Ubuntu AMI, and to connect to the server, I have opened port 22, and I've also installed an Nginx web server on top of this EC2 instance, and this Nginx application runs on port 80. If I'm not opening port 80, we will not be able to access this application. Okay, so that's why I need to open this port 80. So I'm going here now and opening the port 80. I'm going to the EC2 dashboard. So getting in my IP address, Nginx IP address. This is the one public IP address. I'm going to copy it here and my. So I'm going to get welcome to Nginx. Okay. So what this is a web server. If you see this page, Nginx Webserver is successfully installed and working. So that is what it is showing us. Thank you for using Nginx. So this is the default we are getting. So, but we'll not have like this. Okay. So what we are going to do is we are going to uh, modify this, or because uh, see, as an infra or a cloud engineer, our responsibility is to set up the servers and understand the application which you want to install, right? Understand on which port that application is running. If we know, if you are not aware, we can check the documentation or in Google or wherever we can check that particular application where on which port it is running, and we should open that port. Okay. Now, if any of one, if you hit this 52.87.241.177, 171, everyone will be able to access this from your mobile or from your laptop or anything. Okay. So this everyone can access now. Okay. Welcome to Nginx, what I've entered, right? So you can also access the same thing. You can check if you want, you can check and see in your mobile. If you hit this IP address 52.87.241.171. Okay. So you are going to get welcome to Nginx. But I want to restrict this to particular location or within my network. Okay. So there will be some applications in organizations, some HR kind of applications. HR application, so every organization has for their employees, okay, an application dedicated for them. And this is not exposed out for outside people, right? So in that case, how can you restrict that application? This application should be running, but it should be accessible within the network. Okay, but if not, people should be not be able to access from the outside world. Okay, if I want to restrict like that, what I can do is, we already have seen this is what is my IP. Okay, so this is my IP address. We need to get the my organization's network's IP. Okay, I need to copy that IP and go to my security group again. Edit inbound rules, and you have right the 0.0.0/0. What is this? You are giving access to the entire world. Means when I told you, right, if you hit this IP from your mobile or anyone can access this. But right now what I'll do is, I'll come to this part and click this as custom and mention the IP address of my network. Okay, and save rules. What is that I am making now? What I've made, I've restricted this application's access only to this network. So what is this network? This is my Wi-Fi's network. Okay. So we are all in this network as of now. If you connect to my network, you can access this application. But if you are not connected to this network, Okay. So you'll be not be able to access this application. Still, I can access because I'm on the same network. But now, if you try from your mobile or your network, okay, so you'll be not accessing this application because we have restricted to certain network now. So how do we restrict? So like let's say some client is going to give you some request from London team. This is the application we are going to install on our server, but I want to make it available only for the London office people or office particular office location, which is in the London. So what will we do is we'll ask that what is your network IP. Okay. So when they give their network IP, right? So then we go here to my security group and I open this. I add the particular network's IP. So only they can access now. Okay. No one, me or anyone can access this. Only I am giving access for only particular to this network. Okay. So that is how we can restrict access from to the particular network. Okay. So currently this is my Nginx web server, okay, which I have got here. Sorry, this is my local IP. So what is my instance IP? And sometimes when you are having more servers, okay, what happens is you want to select this and terminate. So to terminate this server, you can go to the instance state and click on terminate the server, which is nothing but you are destroying it completely. Okay, so you'll not get access to the server again after you terminate. But what is the difference between stopping a server and terminating a server is when you're stopping a server, it's like you just shut down your system. That's it. But you can start it right again. So you can just power it on and again you can use your system. So that is what the stop. So what is when the server is in the stop state, it is like it is in the shutdown state. Okay. But when the server is terminated, it is like destroyed. Completely the server is destroyed. You cannot recover it back again. Okay, so what happens is whenever while doing the stop or terminate some servers, but instead of terminating this, I might sometime terminate another server. Instead of this, I might terminate another server. So to prevent this accidental deletion, what we can do is I'm going to click on my Nginx, okay, and in the actions, I'll come to the security part, the networking part. So instance settings, we have like this security networking instance settings. So I'll come to the instance settings here, and we have something called change termination protection. Okay. If you click on this, what is it showing some notification? The instance is no longer protected against accidental termination. We do not have protection for this server. To enable termination protection, I can click enable here. Okay, and save. So you're getting some notification called enabled termination protection for this instance ID. So I have my Nginx server here. Okay, and here on the Nginx server. Now we'll try to terminate this server, Nginx. So maybe I was supposed to delete some servers. Maybe this server I was supposed to delete, but accidentally I selected this and I was clicking on terminate. So it says, okay, do you want to go and terminate it? Yes. But this now it is now throwing an error saying that this has failed to terminate this server and it may not be terminated this server because the reason is we have enabled termination protection. So what is it saying is if you want to terminate, you disable the termination, whatever you have enabled, right? So thus that you should do and try it again. Then we can terminate the server. So this is how we can protect from accidental termination, okay, by enabling that. Okay, now I have my Nginx server running here. Okay, I'm going to copy this and putting it here. So I want to modify this content. Actually, I do not want to have the same something like this. So what will I do is I'll go to my W3 schools because I don't know HTML and all. So I go to this HTML and take the sample content. This sample content, I can go to one of the particular location called cd slash var ww slash html. In this file, they have some HTML file, which is by default, they are getting that content. So we are seeing this welcome to Nginx, right? They have given some default content. I do not want to have this default content. I want to modify the content. So how do I modify? So I'm removing this, which is existing right now. Remove rm command. Rm will delete your file. So we'll come to these commands again. Rm index.tpn.html. Okay. If I do ls, so I can see the list of files, whatever are present in my current directory. So I have removed these files completely. So I do not have any file now. Okay. Now I'm going to create a file called index.html. Okay. Now here I'm going to paste my content, whatever I copied there in the W3 schools. It was not copied actually. So we'll copy it again. Copy, Control C. So I come over here and copy that. Okay. Okay, I'm saving content like this. Okay, what is that I had is, so I had a default file where that would be available where www/html. In this particular folder, we are going to have the default location. Okay, so now I modified that, I removed it and created a new file called index.html. Okay. This should be always with the .html extension. So I have given some content, HTML content, because this is where web applications are deployed. If some customers are or clients want to have some web apps, right, web applications or websites, so they'll design like this and put in the particular location. So it's like everything developer will take care. We are not responsible for that. I just wanted to show you this. We are responsible for only creation of the servers. Okay, not those. Just as an example, what we do in the server, I wanted to show you. So I'm going to get like this. Okay, this is AWS Cloud. Welcome everyone. Okay. So likewise, if you want to modify, if you want to add some CSS content, colors and all, we can add, but not required. So we are not interested in web development to design websites and all. Okay. So just we are interested in setting up the servers to host websites. Okay. So likewise, we can use this Nginx application and in that particular path, developer is going to provide us the code. It will be just not like simple index.html. He'll give some files. So we are going to put that files in that location, and we are going to get this entire application. So try to install this Nginx application. So if I want to stop this service, right? So what we can use is systemctl stop Nginx. So I want to see the status. So currently it is showing dead, inactive. Okay. Now how can I confirm? I can go here and now see I'm not getting that content because it is stored in the web server. But web server is down. So that's how we'll verify. If the application is down, how can I go and verify? So someone will tell you the application is down. Please go and check. Okay. So we know this is an Nginx application. Okay. So I'm going to check the status first. So I know it is stopped actually inactive. So I'll enter Q, exit. So now what I'll do is systemctl start Nginx. Now I can check my status. It is running right now. So here previously it was not reachable. Okay, here now it will be reachable again. So that is how we can get it back. Okay. So when you down stop it, you'll not be able to access whenever, because in the background it will be making a check whether the application is running or not. If it is running, it will automatically get the response. So stopping it here, we will continue tomorrow.